Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. It's your boy D Black coming to you raw and uncut. All right, well, Raw tonight. As I keep saying, we're building up to a PLE. Actually, we're building up to two great PLEs. Elimination Chamber is coming, and then right behind that, we have WrestleMania. And nowhere in any direction that the WWE is going is showing us excitement to either one. I mean, some of the participants right now they're in, the elimination chamber as far as these qualifying matches are concerned. There's nothing really. I mean, unless there's somebody that's going to come out and be a surprise, there's really nothing. I'm not even interested, But the only reason I'm going to do it is because I like giving out, the reviews on the shows and stuff. This is what I like doing, but anyway, let's get into the Raw. Okay, we start out as the Usos is about ready to come down to the ring, and yeah, I have a question on that. Like why are they still playing Jay's Uso music? They're a tag team now. Should they go back to the same music that they had when they were a tag team? Should they change it or something like that? Because it's not, me Us, because they're not talking about one individual and stuff. They're talking about two now and not one. But anyway, as they're coming down and getting ready to come out, yeeting, um, then the vision comes out and stuff, And then as they get in the ring, Logan Paul is telling people that, hey, like, he just sold a $16 million car and everything, and nobody out here will ever, amount to that or have that kind of money and stuff like that. No, most people won't and stuff. But anyway, Paul Heyman, is coming out. They're still talking about, the attack from the Masked Man and stuff. And this time, last time it was Austin Theory that got nailed and stuff. And before then, it was Braun Breaker that got nailed and everything. And then there, Austin Theory then comes on the mic and he starts talking about, if it wasn't for that, that he would have won the qualifying match. But the fact is that they keep blaming Adam Pearce for it. Adam Pearce has nothing to do with that because Adam Pearce is thinking there was something that the Vision had going on because the last time we seen the Masked Man and stuff, it was on their half, and it was Austin Theory that was the one that came down and was doing it. He stomped out, CM Punk and stuff. So I guess the tables have turned. And so as that's happening, LA Knight comes out and stuff. But before LA Knight comes out, Paul Heyman is telling Adam Pearce that he wants Bronson Reed to be in the chamber and that, he can do that and stuff. Bronson and then Paul Heyman, Adam Pearce is telling Paul Heyman that the only way they can get into, the chamber and that he would love to put him into the chamber is if he, qualified for it. So he'll be in the next week, Monday night for the qualifying, for the chamber. And then you got LA Knight coming out. Now LA Knight is basically saying what I was about to very say, that, hey, the time has turned, the chickens come out to roost and everything. And they're talking about who the Masked Man, was and everything. And he's like, look how that thing changed around, and everything that it turned out, and you guys got screwed by your own thing and stuff. So, but basically that was all in that, because LA Knight saying that, now that the WrestleMania dreams are, are dashed and everything, and that their hopes are gone and stuff like that, and then he started saying that he prays to the gods and everything, that, somehow Bronson Reed was to win, the qualifying match, he'd get the chance to have him in the elimination chamber, put his head through the chains and everything and kick him in his ass, 30, 40,000 times and stuff. But anyway, you know, um, they're talking and then LA Knight is saying that, hey, he sees, that those guys look like they're ready to come down to have a fight, and he said he sees the Usos, they came down, looked like they might be ready to fight, and then Adam Pearce makes the match, and then we got the match with Bronson Reed, Austin Theory, Logan Paul going against LA Knight, Jimmy and Jey Uso. And the match was man, but it was okay. It was not too bad. It was an okay match. Um, they went back and forth and stuff. They did beat up a little bit on LA Knight and stuff like that and everything. But basically, this match is just thrown together. I see no reasoning in this match at all. I mean, two of the guys, well, one of the guys right now is in the qualifying for, the elimination chamber, but this is how they do it. This is how they book it, and this is what we're going with and stuff. And so it is with Bronson Reed giving a tsunami to Jimmy and counting them out 1, 2, 3. And then as the match was over with, then out comes the masked man again. He doggone cracks, he gives a curb stomp to Logan Paul this time. So it's been Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and Braun Breaker that's being curb stomped by this masked man. And then they run him off and stuff. And then you get backstage, you got Adam Pearce, and there's this crate. Excuse me. And I guess the guy who's around there with the paperwork and everything, that looks like he's just trying to figure out what's going on. His name's Eli, and he tells, and then Adam Pearce asks him, what's in the box. He doesn't say what was in the box. He just read what was on the box, and then Adam Pearce tells him, to get the box, um, pack it up, ship it, and take it to SmackDown, so that Nick Aldis can take care of that situation. And then we get a Grande Americano backstage complaining about, he's not in the chamber, and then he says that, he wants, a shot at the Intercontinental title, and then Adam Pearce tells him, like, if you want a shot at the title, then, he'd have to defeat the person that he, has a match with for that night. So that match will be later on in the evening. Then we got Asuka, Bayley, and Nattie, well, formerly known as Natalia. They come out, for a qualifying match for the women's elimination chamber. This match was okay too. I mean, I guess you know either one of them could have won. Um, like I said, the elimination chamber is nothing that I'm looking really forward to watching. I'm gonna watch it and stuff anyway, but yeah, Oscar wins this. Nothing really exciting about it. The ladies that are going into it, there's nothing really exciting about them going into it and stuff like that. But anyway, Bayley taps out to Oscar in the Oscar lock and stuff like that. And then as Nattie is walking up the ramp, Maxine Dupree attacks her. So now they're fighting and everything, stuff like that. So they're brawling and stuff. And it's weird because I said before, why are Natalia and Maxine brawling? What happened in that dungeon while Nat was trying to, train Maxine? I have no idea, but whatever happened, Nat is not happy about it and stuff because there's nothing gave to where they were having problems or anything. She just all of a sudden just attacked her after the match that she had with Becky Lynch and lost the title to. But oh well, we'll see. And then you got Adam Pearce with Obafemi, saying basically what Nicole said, asked him, which division that, who is he going to sign with and stuff like that. And then you get Rusev that comes out, and then they have a stare down Rusev and Obafemi and stuff like that. So I would be thinking that Ober is about ready to destroy Rusev because if you got Obafemi and what he did to the War Raiders, come on, who gonna beat this guy? He demolished the War Raiders. He beat them down. Yeah, he beat the War Raiders down. So then we get this horrible interview with Liv Morgan, supposed to be with Michael Cole, and Michael Cole is asking you know, Liv, who she's gonna choose, and then Liv, she says that, hey, look, she hasn't made that decision. She's gonna choose on her time and stuff like that. And then out comes Stephanie Bakira, but she's saying stuff in Spanish. And then you got Dom over there supposed to be translating, but hell, he's whispering. You can't even make out anything that he's saying. I mean, you can't make out a word that he's saying. So actually, this made zero sense. And I'm thinking that Stephanie is telling Liv basically more of what Jay Cargill told her. You pick me when we get to WrestleMania. I'm gonna whoop your tail, and you're not gonna get this title. She's gonna walk out as champion and stuff like that. So I'm assuming that's what she's saying. I don't know because I don't speak Spanish. But anyway, then we get to the CM Punk. And then he's saying that Adam Pearce is asking why he's risking you know himself before WrestleMania, and he's saying that, hey, him and Roman Reigns real main event on WrestleMania is he feels that he's not putting anything in jeopardy or at risk and stuff. And then Finn Balor comes out and everything, and then CM Punk tells him that he remembers when Finn Balor did things on his own and stuff, because Finn Balor, since he's been back with the WWE, he came back with the Judgment Day because they started quite a few years ago and stuff, and that's even when Damian Priest was with them and stuff. As a matter of fact, that's when Edge started the whole thing. When Edge started everything with the Judgment Day and stuff, and then they booted Edge out, and then Damian Priest was a part of it and stuff, and then JD McDonough came in. It's always been Finn Balor, and them. But I guess now they're saying that he wants this, and so we already know what's going to happen again. CM Punk is going to beat Finn Balor again and stuff like that. And it seemed like um, JD McDonough is back, so maybe they might get back together as a tag team and do stuff like that. Dom's with them, and Dom's more worried about him and his title match and his chance at the chamber when he gets in the ring for the qualifying match and stuff. So I mean, it's kind of crazy. And so Finn Balor, when they come out, Dom and JD and them, they go to the ring, and they try to load the ring up and stuff. So Finn tells CM Punk that he's not gonna touch him or anything like that and everything. And then CM Punk, he turns his back on him and like, look, he dared them to do anything to him and stuff. They did nothing and stuff, and then CM Punk walks off. Then we get this match with Grande Americana and Penta. So this is the match for the number one contender for the IC title. The match was, I guess it was okay and stuff. I mean, it was, back and forth a little bit and stuff. Penta hits the Penta driver. Hits the Mexican destroyer on El Grande Americana. I mean, and wins the match. But all that happened, while Bravo and Rayo try to interfere in the match, and then the original El Grande Americano comes out and everything, and he distracts everybody and stuff. He didn't interfere actually into the match itself because Penta hits, like I said, the Mexican destroyer on El Grande and pins him for the 1, 2, 3. Penta wins the match, number one contender for the IC championship, which they say is going to be a future challenge match down the road and everything, which is crazy. But anyway, after that, then the original El Grande gets in, jumps on the El Grande Americano, which is Lucha Kaiser and stuff, and beats them up a little bit and stuff like that, and stands strong in the ring and walks off. And then we get the AJ Lee promo. She comes out saying that she's gifted the women's division, to what it is today, and what they're doing now, saying that she bridged the gap, between the old women wrestlers into today's women's wrestlers and stuff, in the whole women's division. And then Becky Lynch comes out and tells AJ to leave, while she's been gone for 10 years, um, which is probably the biggest gift that she could have given to the women's division by not being around and stuff like that. And then I guess, Becky gets, a little bit smart at the mouth. And then she says, well, AJ was making comic books that weren't making any sales for the last 10 years. She was saying that herself, Becky, um, was making history, winning championships and doing things and striving and stuff like that. So and then all of a sudden, then Becky, starts ranting off about what USA said and Sports Illustrated said and all the other stuff that she's been saying for the last 6-7 months of the same thing, rant and all that. And then AJ tells hey Becky, stop all this squabbling, get in the ring so they can throw hands. Then Becky gets into the ring. They stare each other down. Look like Becky might throw a punch or something like that, but she never does. She gets out of the ring and then she walks off and she walks to the back and stuff. And then we have the main event. We have Dom Mysterio, Gunther, and Javon Evans. But in the way everything came out, it was Javon Evans that came out first, and then Gunther came out second, and then Dom came out third. So I guess they sent Dom out because he was the Intercontinental Champion and the Triple A champion, but Gunther is the guy who they are actually, pushing through, I guess, as far as a heel and stuff, and he don't even get the booze that Dominic Mysterio gets. I mean, he's just a jobber. I mean, this match, uh, it was okay. Gunther does his like 4 or 5 moves and everything. Dom is actually getting a little bit better in the ring. But that Javon Evans, I'm telling you right now, that is a superstar. This kid's going to go a long way and stuff. I mean, he has the talent to actually do everything. I think because he won the match and everything, and he did beat Dom, he pinned Dom. I'm thinking Javon Evans and Dom is going to be, it's going to be set up because when Dom fights, you know, El Grande Americano, Dom will win that match. And I don't even understand that match either because the fact is that El Grande Americano, the one that's losing Kaiser, is the one that helped Dom get the IC title that he has right now, and other things that have happened in the Mexican League, in the AAA League, and stuff. So now they're going to be fighting for that title and stuff. Okay, make sense. But anyway, um, Javon Evans wins and stuff. Dragon Lee comes out and he nails Gunther with the ring bell and puts him down, where that gives a chance for Javon Evans to hit the old G cutter on Dom and pin him for the 1, 2, 3. And so that's it, for this Raw and stuff. I mean, um, I'm hoping that the shows get better because they have really, really been dipping. It's been looking real bad for the WWE for the last year and a half. It's been crazy. It's been crazy, crazy, crazy. But anyway, I thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Hit that bell for the next video. Thank you for watching. God bless, deuces, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.